Welcome, 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 everyone, to the Women's Empower Network. I am so excited to have Stacey here with us today. It's an inside joke between us. Stacey, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, Ginny. Happy to be here.
I'm happy for you to be here. And because we just recently met through ENTV, and so I was excited to have to share you with our group. So if you wouldn't mind, let's just jump in. And if you would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey that led you to what you're doing today?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. My journey from a young age really has been all about health, wellness, well-being, a deep desire to feel good physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, because from a young age, I did not feel those things. So starting in high school is when I started having a lot of health issues pop up. The biggest one back then was low energy, and I was an athlete, so that was really concerning for me. I also had a lot of, the teenage things happening, depression, anxiety. I also dealt a lot with like some hypoglycemia, strong sugar cravings. And I came from a very athletic background. I had this deep desire to feel healthy and be healthy. Yet it was a struggle for me. And so from a young age, I discovered, well, food was the first thing that I discovered, healthy eating, and then herbal medicine. And herbal medicine led me to acupuncture school and becoming an acupuncturist and an herbalist with a clinical practice for 15 years. But that journey continued, that lifelong desire. My health continued to improve, but I wanted to get it to a very vibrant state. So I was very, very persistent. And I discovered energy healing. And now I have transitioned from doing um, acupuncture with physical clinical practice to now I do energy healing online, as well as I teach energy healing to others, and I help give them the skills to thrive in energy healing. So it's been an interesting progression along the way, but it's all been interconnected.
That's beautiful. I mean, and I lived during a time where it was even pre-acupuncture and pre-chiropractics, and that was like it was like cultish and it was very uh, frowned upon and and everybody was very fearful. And now here we're talking about energy work, and if you would, I would love to hear in your words, how did you receive that when you first started understanding about energy, and how did it look and sound to you in your unfoldment?
And that's actually a great, great question because acupuncture is energy healing. It's more of using physical needles, but you are um, moving the energy of a person. You put in a couple of needles and you can go from feeling tired and sluggish to energetic and happy. I mean, that's energy healing in and of itself. Um, so that was my intro into it. I didn't quite realize it at the time, but then about 15 years ago, I started getting energy healing from others, and I absolutely loved it. And but I always thought I couldn't do that. I can't do that. I'm an acupuncturist. We also had medical qigong at my acupuncture school, which is absolutely a form of energy healing without the needles. I used to get that done as well 25 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. But I always thought, I can't do that. And so for a long time, I relied on others. And then once I started learning those skills, I really realized, hey, wait a minute, I can do this. And in fact, I can thrive at this. And I can teach others. I think, back in the day, it was like, oh, only certain people can do it, or things like that. But I teach channeling. Teach people to tap into their own intuition. I teach people to cultivate their clairs, their clairvoyance, their clairsentience, their clairaudience, and their claircognizance. These are things that you can really teach, that you can cultivate and learn, so that when you can tap into the energy and feel what's going on, or see or hear or know, as well as learn how to shift the energy. And it's one of the most powerful things that we can do as human beings, is to really be in charge of our own energy, and to keep our fields moving and bright and shiny, as well as, if somebody is drawn to work with others, doing that as a healing practice.
I bet there's a lot of people in the group that, I remember when I first started learning about it in Akashic Records and everything, it all seemed kind of woo-woo to me. And I remember the person who kind of solidified it for me was Tesla. He says we're all energy vibrating at different frequency. And then with the new understanding of quantum physics, from the science point of view, it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then if you would go a step further too, is there are emotions, there's the emotional scale. If you want to talk about that a little bit, and how we can regulate that.
Absolutely. And that was actually something I learned back in acupuncture school, um, because acupuncturists really recognize how emotions can affect your physical body. That is a medical theory in Chinese medicine, and it's very, very valid. So you can translate that to energy healing as well. All emotions have different frequencies, and they're going to affect us at different levels. Some emotions are heavier, such as guilt and shame, and they can really weigh us down. And same with depression and anxiety. And I've heard this from other people. You cannot heal anxiety. And I am like, I am here to tell you, I am standing in front of you. I have healed myself from anxiety. I've healed myself from agoraphobia, social anxiety. You can heal from these things. It's just a matter of clearing that energy out of your field. And then you have a different, what's the word I'm looking for? Baseline. You have a different baseline that you're functioning from. So if there's any emotions that you struggle with, or any emotions that, for those that are listening, I'm speaking to them, that you struggle with, or that you want to rid yourself of, you absolutely can do that. I don't like to hear people feel like they're stuck with something, right? It's going to be lifelong. No, 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 no. You can heal it, you can change it, you can shift it.
I recently was talking to one of my nieces, and she's a chronic worrier, and we were making fun because my mother was a chronic worrier, and we would make jokes. Oh, she's the one who got those genes. But then when I mentioned to her, it's like, well, just because you feel that way, you worry, we kept talking a little bit. I was like, did you know you can change that? She didn't even have an awareness. She just thought she was the one in the family that got stuck with that gene, and thought that was her life sentence. She didn't have a clue that you can shift that. So, I mean, let's dive into that a little more if you don't mind. It's because I call it looping too, because it's a
Mm-hmm.
thought pattern, and the thought
Mm-hmm.
pattern creates that emotion. And
Mm-hmm.
so you just keep replaying that loop.
Absolutely. I've cleared and healed that in my field as well. So I know that chronic worrier loop. Um and um and it is, I think back to when I was younger, I didn't even realize I was worrying, right? I was just thinking, right? I was, but worry actually is, how do I want to say it? It's a big disruption in the energy field. It takes us out of the present moment. It takes us out of like peace, stillness, joy, right? It's not quite as big as like anxiety or depression, right? But worry still takes us out of our center. And it is absolutely something that you can change and that you can heal. So, absolutely, I've worked on that within myself. I understand that one intimately.
Yeah, that's exciting, and I think the more and more it's repeated over and over again, and it sinks into more and more people that, whatever programming you received from your parents or your culture or your religion or whatever, it's not in stone.
Yeah,
It may play a
absolutely.
major part in who you are, but you can rewrite the script. You can
Absolutely.
rewrite the
Same thing
energy.
with limiting beliefs, um, patterns, habits. All of these things can be shifted at a very deep level. And the cool thing is, it's like as we clear it out of the energy field, sometimes you even forget that you struggled with that in the past. It's like, oh yeah, I used to do that. It's like you just naturally move and exist and think in a different way without even having to like make as big of a conscious effort. You just move into this different frequency and vibration, if that makes sense.
Well, it does to me, absolutely. I,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, as we each grow, I mean, and then there's this new phase, there's you go through these evolutions, and we're all always growing and expanding, and going through these different evolutions. And so then the concept of parallel realities um, come to mind. And it's like when I was in on the path of worrying and self-flagellation, and that type of thinking, and I got tired of hearing myself think that way and called BS on myself, belief systems. And I moved over into this stream. I think of it of a what did I call it yesterday? Slipstream of this new energy that I'm in, and being in more alignment. It's like you feel lighter and lighter, and you're more of yourself. Yeah, you have the personality you were born with to experience life through, but you don't have any of the garbage. And now you feel like you're on the path to where you feel like you're supposed to be, heading towards your dream. And so having people like you that share your gifts and assist people in doing that is just, I'm so grateful for it. Absolutely. Is there any, I was thinking about Akashic Records. A lot of people may not know about Akashic Records, and you do work with that as well, don't you?
I do. I do. And I actually love the Akashic Records. The main modalities I use are the Akashic Records, angel healing, Rahanni Celestial Healing. Those are probably the big three. And I absolutely love the Akashic Records because you can go very, very deep down to the soul level. You can dig into past lives that may be affecting you now. You can dig into ancestral lineages and how that may be affecting you. Um, and and the work is just so deep. So I like to combine it all together. I call that my mixed modality session. Um, and and we just explore whatever wants to come through. In fact, I just got off of a session with someone where where we did that. And it was really beautiful, the information that came through.
That's beautiful. Do you mind, if you don't mind, would you give a little bit definition about those three main modalities that you use and what they are? Because a lot of people may not have heard of or just first time hearing about what Akashic Records like. What is that?
Yeah, the Akashic Records stores, it's basically our soul's journey, all the way back to like the beginning of our soul. So you can go into past lives, and we can carry things over, both positive and negative, from past lives. And you can work on like contracts, vows, patterns, things that go really, really deeply. And so I can just tune into the energy, and what wants to be brought to heal and clear will come through. And so that's the Akashic Records. Angel healing, the angel healing modality, there's 34 archangels associated with that modality. And so there's an angel for almost everything. I absolutely love them. And there are 17 pairs. So angels are actually androgynous. They're not male or female, but they show up with a divine feminine aspect and a divine masculine aspect, just like two sides of a coin. So that's the 17 pairs will have a divine feminine and a divine masculine aspect to them. And the angels are, they're non-denominational. They're not associated with any religion. They're open to anybody, and they absolutely love to help. And then Rahanni Celestial Healing works with the term I like to use are the higher beings of light. So our guides, we work with archangels in that modality as well, but also the ascended masters. Um, and some star family guides as well. So Rahanni is kind of like this big umbrella of guides that you can just bring through to help to either let go of things that we want to let go of, or anchor in those higher frequencies, those higher emotions, those higher states of being, that, the goodness that we like to feel. And then they all work together. I'll just mix them all in a session based on what is needed most.
And that's what's so exciting and beautiful about this point in time. It's because you can deal with present trauma, or you mentioned generational. And when we do the work on a generational level, we heal the past as well as the future. And then something else you brought up interesting too was contracts. Can you tell a little bit more about what that means?
Yeah, sometimes we can hold a contract that we've made in a past life. I mean, it could be like a contract or a vow of poverty. And that's going to absolutely affect your finances, your prosperity, your abundance. Um, and so clearing those things that maybe were made out of, maybe it was a past life, like a religious past life, that maybe were made out of the goodness of your heart at the time, but like really don't serve you in the long run. You get rid of those things, and it frees up your energy. And just to speak around both like finances and relationships, sometimes we can have a lot of limiting beliefs, or beliefs that we've grown up with that we don't even know that we're carrying, that can affect our financial life, that can affect our relationships, whether it's, romantic or just friendships or family. And clearing those things can change so much. Your life can change in front of you.
And it makes me think on a more surface level. I think of those rare individuals that come from poverty and generations of poverty and become star athletes or become actors, or, and usually I say celebrities because, you know, those are the ones that we hear about and we hear their story. You know, we don't hear about the average Joe that might have broken the cycle of a family, you know, and was the first one to go to college or the first one to travel the world, or, you know, different things like that. So that it's just such an exciting time that we are not locked into any of it, any vows, any
Absolutely.
contracts, any self-limiting beliefs, any stories are past. I
Absolutely.
hope the audience is really getting this, and there's special people like Stacey that has that skills and knowledge to help you clear this stuff out. You're such a
Absolutely.
gift. Oh my
Thank
gosh.
you. Thank you. And I love to teach others how to do it as well. So I love to help empower others. So it's not only about, I love doing one-to-one sessions, absolutely. But if you're someone who also wants to learn how to do this, I can help you do that. And I just love that because I sometimes I just laugh because I had this mindset, I had this limiting belief that I can't do energy healing. And here I am, like teaching it to others. So, absolutely, you can shift anything.
It is. Do you do group trainings?
I do group trainings. I do classes, I do group healings and sessions. And then also, I do like 6 week long classes. That's my channeling courses. My next channeling course, level 1, starts Monday, October 28th. That's this coming Monday. That's 6 weeks. I also have a level 2 after that. And then I also do like day-long trainings. Angel healing is coming up November 17th. My next Rahanni training is in December. I don't have the date for that yet. I should be coming up with that in the next couple of days. But I also have something free. If people are interested, I'm going to be doing a free intro to angel healing Sunday, November 3rd at 12 p.m. noon. So if you're just wanting to dip your toe in, learn a little more about it, what is this about? There's also going to be a free healing in that. You can either reach out to me personally for the Zoom link or sign up on my newsletter. You'll get everybody on my newsletter will get the Zoom link. So lots of ways to learn. Oh, I also have group sessions. I do healing circles twice a month. And then I also do activation circles twice a month. That's where, we meet in a group and I do these healings, guided meditations, activations that you can, come and get some healing and some activating and clear some things all on your own. And it's at a very affordable price, and it's fun to do in group settings as well.
And so this angel um, healing that you have coming up Sunday, November 3rd at 12 o'clock. What time zone is that in?
Oh, Eastern. If I didn't say that, yes, sorry, Eastern. Thanks for clarifying.
No, that's okay. And just to let the audience know, we're going to put all of this above the interview, and then Stacey will also put it in the comments. So she'll put all that so you can get in touch with her and sign up and just explore this new level of being. It's so exciting. So before we go today, are there any last words of wisdom that you want to share with the group today?
I want to share that the energy field, our auric field around us, is so powerful, and we can change it. We can create whatever type of energy field that we want. If you want to feel energized, if you want to feel happy, if you want to feel inspired, you can do that. So I just like to give people hope and inspiration. I've gone through, I felt like I had decades of the dark night of the soul, really. So I have a lot of empathy for anybody out there who is maybe not living at the place that they want to live from, not living um, from either a state of happiness or a state of satisfaction or fulfillment, that can all be changed.
It is, because well-being is our birthright.
Yeah,
It's just,
absolutely.
we just have to choose it, right? We just have to choose it.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to continue to move towards it. It doesn't happen overnight, but the more you just kind of keep moving towards it, the more things change in front of you.
That's so beautiful. And thank you again so much, Stacey, for being here. And it's just been such a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing more of you.
Thank you, Jenny. I always enjoy our conversations. Thanks for having me.